Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. In today's video I'm creating this look here. It's like gold and cranberry and wine and deep red shades on the eyes. It's really glam, it's really dark, really smoky. So if you want to see all of the products that I used to create this look and how I did it, then just keep on watching. So I'm going to be starting on the eyes, that's why I've already got my eye primer on, and my brows. Obviously for the eye primer I used the Beauty Bay one. The brow pencil was the Catrice Eyebrow Stylist, and I've also put a little bit of brow gel through the Beauty Bay one in Sable, which I've literally just had and already lost on my table. But today I'm wanting to play with the Beauty Bay Rich palette again. I really haven't had that much opportunity this month to play with this palette, but genuinely it is beautiful, so autumnal, so perfect for this time of year, and I'm wanting to do something more like purpley, reddy, sort of cranberry sort of colours, a lot darker, a lot like smokier. So that's what we're going to be doing today, maybe with like a pop of gold. I'm thinking maybe like a halo eye, but quite smoky. Obviously you'll have already seen in the little intro just now, but I haven't filmed that yet, so we're just going to see how this goes. So I will start with a big fluffy brush and I'm going to dip into Organza, this matte shade here, which I've honestly been using so much. It's my perfect like slightly deeper transition-y shade. Probably in this palette one of the most used shades because it's just that perfect sort of wash of brown to put through first. I will just zoom you in so you can see what I'm doing. So I have that Organza shade on a big fluffy brush and I'm just going to run that all along my crease. I just want like a light little wash of colour, and I'm taking it quite far out as well because obviously I'm going to be going quite smoky, so I want that shade right out there as well. So then next I'm dipping into Shiraz, which is this shade here, and again a matte shade, and that's like pretty much the darkest that we're going to go. I might go in with a little bit of mulberry, but I do want this to be quite dark, quite deep and like autumnal feeling, so I'm going in with a much smaller brush, which is clean, it's just a little bit brown, but that doesn't matter. And I'm going to dip into Shiraz, very, very pigmented, and I'm going to stamp this right on the inner corner and right on the outer corner. That shade is beautiful. And then once I've packed on that colour and I don't really have very much left on the brush, I'm just going to be like tapping over the top edges to blend it in. Like I say, I do want it to be quite like intensely Shiraz coloured. I do want to see quite a bit of this once it's all blended out. That's such a beautiful shade. And then once I've blended it out, I'm just going back over just with the same brush and the same colour, just going back over to really intensify that colour, and I'm going to start dragging it out a little bit. I want it very sort of smoky, so I'm going to drag it out a little bit more. And then I'm just going back in with that first brush with no more colour on it, but just using something a little bit bigger and a little bit fluffier to really blend out the edges. Oh, those colours are beautiful. The two that we've used, you know what I mean. I really, really like that Shiraz shade. It's so deep, beautiful. It would make a beautiful like smoky wing as well. You know, if you were wanting something that was like a really nice deep reddy purple, I think that that would be the perfect shade for that, especially if you had blue eyes. I love it. So I'm not worrying about like any of this colour because I am gonna clean all of this up, but I'm just making sure everything is blended really nicely. I'm just going to go in with a really, really tiny brush, like the tiniest brush I have in my collection, and I'm going to just dip into that mulberry shade, just a tiny, tiny little bit, just to intensify right on the very, very inner corner. and outer corner and then blend it out. So I'm just tapping it right in there just to add a tiny little bit more depth, but I don't want this to overtake the Shiraz shade. I just want, see the difference? I just want a tiny little bit more depth. I'm just going to do the same on the outer corner as well. So I'm happy with how all of those like pinky shades are looking. Happy with the depth on the outer corner and also the inner corner. And now, after a little bit of blending out there, I think I'm just going to go straight in with a gold shade like down the center. And I think the one that's screaming out to me, and I feel like the obvious choice here, is Crown. This shade here, which is obviously really metallic and gold, which is obviously what we're going for, and I'm just gonna dip in with my finger into that shade so that I can really pack it on that blank space down the middle. So I'm just gonna look down into my mirror and pack that all over that middle section. Oh, that's pretty. I'm taking that gold shade like right up to my like eyebrow as well, so you can really see the intensity of that gold. Then I'll just go back in with that first fluffy brush and tap out the edges. Then I just want something a little bit brighter to like pop right down the center, so I'm going to go in with a bit of sequin, this one here, to really like intensify the shine like right down the center. So again, I'm just gonna look down and just pop that right on the middle. Ooh, that's a really pretty shade. This one almost feels like a cream, like it's softer, like my finger is fully like dipping into that shade. It's beautiful. And that's just adding a little bit more like intensity to the shimmer down at the center of my eye. I love that one. I'm just going to tap over with a little bit more of that Shiraz shade just to really keep the intensity of the pinkness. Then I think I'm going to go in with this brush, the second one that I used. I'm just going to dip into that mulberry shade, that darker matte. So I feel like I need more depth on this outer corner. I just wasn't getting enough with that tiny little brush. Yeah, that's better. I don't know if I'm going to do a wing today. I might not do, you know. I do feel like when I'm doing my makeup, sometimes I can be like, I'll just add a wing because that's what I do. But sometimes you don't need it. Like, I've got so much depth in the colours on here. I don't know if I need it. I really like how that's looking. Okay, so I'm going to take a cotton pad and some micellar water, and I'm just going to clean up under the eyes and also out here where I was just blending with no care in the world. I am obviously going to be doing like a smoky under eye, but I do like the process of like cleaning it up and then applying like exactly where I want to, rather than, you know, like all of this and here. Like, I'm probably going to put that colour there, but it's nice to clean it up and like start fresh, you know. So that is what the eyes are looking now that they are all cleaned up. So I'm going to zoom you out and we can do the rest of the face. So I have a new primer to try out today. This is absolutely not new to the market. I feel like I'm the last person in the planet to be trying this primer, but it's the Ordinary High Adherence Silicone Primer. High Adherence Blurring Surface Smoother and Primer. So I am excited to see how this actually looks. I don't normally go for primers that are like blurring. I like hydrating. I like dewy looking. So we'll see what this goes on like. Okay, so it just looks like a cream. Let's see how it sort of blends out on the skin. Oh, it feels very thick. I probably got too much there, didn't I? Yeah, I definitely got too much on my hands then. Let me just wipe that off. Okay, so when I first put that on, it almost just felt like a moisturiser, that sort of very thick moisturiser sort of feeling, but it has sort of dried down and now it feels like really nice and smooth and velvety. That's really, really nice. It doesn't feel tacky though. I was expecting it to be sort of stickier, with it saying high adherence. I wouldn't say that it necessarily feels sticky, and I do feel like it's giving my skin a really nice glow, which obviously is preferable because my skin is so dry. But I'm going in with one of my favourite foundations, the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation in 004 Neutral Porcelain. So I'm just going to dot the foundation all over, and then I will blend it out with a sponge. I'm interested to see how this foundation goes on over the top of that primer. I usually really like this foundation with like a really hydrating, dewy sort of primer, because this is quite matte. But I do feel like with this level of like glam on the eyes, I do feel like I need quite matte on the skin. Does anybody else feel like that? Like there's certain looks where I feel like I prefer really dewy skin, and then there's some looks where I'm like, I just want to be completely matte, no shine at all, which really isn't like me. But I do feel like this level of glam, this amount, or the amount that I'm thinking I'm going to end up with anyway, I do feel like I want quite matte skin. I'm just going to tap a little bit of concealer right under my eyes here, and I don't know what brush I'm going to use. I want to use a brush so that I can be more precise with the old blending. I might use an eyeshadow brush actually, that might be a good idea. So I just want to keep the concealer right under the eyes. I don't want it to blend out too far. Yeah, that'll work. So now I need to desperately add some colour back into my face. I'm actually looking quite a lot like my little Casper the Ghost sponge, aren't I? So I need bronzer, and I need it quick, so I'm going in with the e.l.f. Primer Infused Bronzer in Forever Sunkissed, and my Real Techniques blush brush, and I'm gonna add some serious colour back into the skin. This foundation is fantastic, but it really does take all of the colour out of your skin. So then you have to add it all back in again. And for bronzer, I'm going in with this one again, which I tested recently. It's the Collection Filter Finish Liquid Blush Wand in Berry Glow. Like I said, I tested this against the, like I did a comparison between this one and the e.l.f. one. This one comes out on top, of course. But I'm just going to put a little bit, and I do feel like the undertone and like the depth of this blush is going to be perfect for with the eye look. So that much of that, and then brush. And these go over the top of powder so nicely, so you don't have to worry about like what order you do things in, which obviously for little Miss Scatterbrain over here is preferable. Yes, I feel like this look is starting to come together now. I think that that blush goes perfectly with that eyeshadow. I absolutely love that blush. Like, that is going to be my favourite blush for the season. It's just perfect. It's got the perfect amount of glow, and it's a liquid so it blends out really easily. It's the perfect deep berry tone for my skin tone. It's not too deep, but it's still deep on my skin tone. I absolutely love it. So what now? I think I'm going to do the under eyes because I can't take myself seriously at the minute. I'm going to go in with a little liner brush into, let's go into Shiraz, that slightly redder shade, the one that's like the prominent shade. really tap off my brush. I'm just going to stamp that along the lower lash line, right next to the lashes. And I'll also just join it up with what we've got on the outer corner. And then I'm just going in with a clean, quite dense sort of pencil brush, just to smudge it out a little bit. We'll also like smudge over that line so it's not quite so harsh on the outer corner. Then I'm just going to take a tiny little bit of that mulberry shade, the darker purple, and I'm going to keep that more on the outer corner of the lower lash line. And I'm going to take this one like a little bit further down. So I do like quite a smoky sort of lower lash line, but especially on the outer corner. So I'll just do that with that liner brush and then blend over with that pencil brush. So now I'm looking at this and I'm like, I really want to add a wing. But I add a wing to every single look. I can't do it. I want to wing or not to wing. That is the question. See, I feel like when I get mascara on, it probably won't matter. I'm just going to do mascara. I'm just going to do mascara. Beauty Bay High Key Mascara. And then we'll reassess if I need more bronzer or blush or anything like that. Okay, so now that the mascara's on, I'm glad that I didn't do a wing. Like, I feel like it looks, on me, I feel like it looks really different having like this level of smoky eyeshadow without a wing, because I always do a wing. But I do feel like I need more bronzer now that I've got the like the depth from the darkness from the mascara. I do feel like I need more bronzer, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. I don't feel like I need more blush, which is rare. But bronzer, I do just want a little bit more round the outsides. So for the lips, I'm like, I don't know which way I want to go. Do I want to add something more deep and smoky, or do I want to keep it really light and like glossy? Do we start light and glossy, and then if I don't like it I can add something a bit deeper? Yeah, let's try that. So I'm just gonna wipe off the lip balm that I had on, and then I'll go in with the Essence 8 Hour Comfort Matte Lip Liner in 03 Soft Beige. Who saw that coming? Literally no one. And then for lipsticks, I've got a few options over on my table at the minute. I've got the Milani Pleasure lipstick. That could work. I don't know if that's too brown. I feel like I need something a little bit more pinky. Is that too pink now? This is the Revolution. Oh goodness, couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even tell you if this was matte or... No, this is glossy. In the shade Punch. We're just gonna give it a go. Yes, I feel like that's better. Like I needed something a little bit rosier, like a little bit pinker. So this is the finished look. The lipstick I decided on finally was the Revolution Pro. I'm like having to hold it into the light. Revolution Pro Hydra Gloss in the shade Punch. I am thrilled with how this has turned out. Let me know what you think. Would you have added a wing? Let me know, would you have added a wing? I definitely feel like you could, but I am really happy with how that has turned out. I'm so thrilled to have played with the Rich palette again. Like, I've had it, what, like 6 weeks, and I've probably used it about 6 times. Like, there's just not been the chance this month to really like sit down and play with it. Like, there's just been so much happening. But this is the finished look. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. But until next time, thank you ever so much for watching. Bye!